Hello everyone, no funny intro today. Here's a bit of a glimpse of my normal life just watching some football on the TV. And we're going to be just having a look quickly today at Dolce & Gabbana by Man versus the Perfume Parlour clone of it. I did a little preview about the two scents versus each other a month or two ago. Hello everyone, just a very quick one today. So a couple of people were asking on what the result was of my testing. I've been looking at Dolce & Gabbana's By Man, which I only have a small sample of, very rare fragrance from the late 90s. And I've been comparing that one to the clone of it by Perfume Parlours here in the UK, which is called B.Y Men. Okay, so I'm going to do a comparison. I've been testing them out a little bit versus one another. Today's my final day when I'm going to try and decide what I think. So here's my little sample of By Man, the original from Dolce & Gabbana. So I've got some on there. Very nice, sweet, kind of spicy barbershop feel. Lavender. It's woody. It's got Artemisia, otherwise known as wormwood, which was in Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male. Very nice, smooth, sweet, sexy kind of, really unique smell actually. A little bit, well, not totally unique because it's a little bit like Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male for me. But I can see why this one has a bit of a following. Here's my clone, which I've pimped up with a sticker. So let's see how that smells in comparison. And on the opening, there's an overwhelming similarity, but they're not identical. So maybe I've tested them a bit. This one seems a little bit smoother and just a little bit something more natural smelling about it. But this one has a lot of the same qualities, but there's a note in there. I wouldn't say it's an off note, but there's something a little bit different. So I don't think it's going to be 100% the same, but if it's quite close, could still be a good buy because the Perfume Parlour one's really cheap. Let's see how it goes against the original. Okay, so here we go. Time for the verdict. So let's see what I thought about this one. So we've got on the left-hand side there my pimped up bottle of Perfume Parlour by Men clone. I put the sticker on, and on the right there's the little tube, which is the oil, the perfume oil from Perfume Parlour, which I wore some of, and a sample of the original there. I had another little atomizer too that I used. So to conclude, the original By Man is very pleasant. It has a nice sweet feel with some lavender and a spicy woodiness, a bit of nuttiness about it. It's got nutmeg in the notes and Artemisia, which is otherwise known as wormwood. I enjoy it, it's decent, it's a well balanced and enjoyable barbershop type scent. It's nothing amazing to write home about. I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10 so far on my samples, but I know it's hugely sought after. So the clone that I've got there, mainly been using the spray one, the Eau de Toilette. I found that is rather a good copy, but not a brilliant or perfect one. It has a lot of similar characteristics. When I first sprayed it, I really recognised it, that it did smell a lot like the original By Man from Dolce & Gabbana. But in the dry down, there's this kind of slightly excessively nutty note in the Perfume Parlour clone in both versions, the Eau de Toilette and the roll-on parfum. And the roll-on perfume oil. So they did a decent job, but they didn't do an utterly amazing job. It's a lot like clones of Creed Aventus or other Creed fragrances that you can buy cheaply from Middle Eastern houses. They're quite close. In the air they can smell very similar, but they're not really doing anything completely new. So it's kind of a 7.5 out of 10 for me, the copy. And they did a decent job. In the air it smells similar. You can recognise it's based on that fragrance if you know that fragrance really well. If you're a connoisseur of Dolce & Gabbana By Man though, and you've had a few bottles, this might disappoint you. On the other hand, in the air it does create a very similar smell, roughly like Club de Nuit Intense Man or something would, similar to Aventus, but if you dig your nose in, you're going to notice that it's a little bit inferior. It's kind of the same thing here. Enjoy both fragrances. Dolce & Gabbana By Man for me so far not the holy grail of fragrances at all. This clone does a decent job, but it's not perfect. So that's my verdict. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Let's project.